Hey everyone, I just wanted to talk about fear because I'm seeing on all sorts of different social medias this escalation of threads about being properly scared, all prompted by the new restrictions and new headlines and these reports of different strains of virus and this conversation is is the most powerful um, route or powerful lens through which to look at fear for two reasons that I see. Well, probably infinite reasons, but two that are really coming to mind now. The first is that it allows us to distinguish, or it allows the distinction between imagination and reality, which is enormous, which is everything. Once that starts to unfold, the world opens up. And the second thing is that it allows the fears of our belief system, our conditioning, our upbringing to be transparent, to be laid out, to be seen. And that also is beyond words enormous. So let's look at both of them. The first one, the distinction between imagination and reality. And this is where fear is so gripping, because what it looks like is that when we're in the middle of that panic and that stress, and we're seeing the headlines and we're hearing all these words, these conversations, and we're seeing these restrictions happening, it all looks like reality, doesn't it? It looks like this is reality. This is what's going on in my country, the rest of the world, and this is terrifying. And it could, I'm talking about it in relation to what's going on right now, but it could be anything. It all looks like reality. And so we're in this constant fight against that reality. It looks terrifying, and every fiber of our being is gearing up against it or withdrawing away from it, because that's the reality, and it's that's making me scared. But what we can see is that when we ask the question, and this is Byron Katie's question, and thank the Lord for her, and the powerful laser that she's provided to come into reality. Other than what I'm thinking, am I okay right now? Right now, this minute, am I okay? Other than what I'm thinking, am I okay? Oh, it's so massive that. It's so massive. Because what that's doing is saying, come into this now, exactly what's happening to me, to this body now, and see anything else as projection, association, creation, construction, thought, in other words. There's this now, this minute, this breath, this body now, this temperature, this room, this, how I am right now, is reality. This is reality. This is the only thing that can be known. This now, this direct livingness right now. Everything else is thought. So other than thought, am I okay now? And if I'm not okay now, let's look at that. And this is really like talking like physically what's going on. Let's respond to that. If there's something, if food is required, let's find some food. If water is required, let's find some food. If shelter is required, let's find some shelter. If a conversation is required, let's find a conversation. We can respond to the reality right now. And that's the design of us to do that. Our whole capacity acts to respond to whatever's going on now. That's the animal of us. That's the life of us, able to do that. Everything else is thought. We can't fix thought. We can't solve those problems because they are not happening now. It's such a powerful distinction. And what that does is it frees up the mind. It makes us sane. We're rational. We're the full capacity of mind meeting what's happening now. And all of that energy, that exhaustion, and we all know it, don't we? That circular thinking, waking up at 3 a.m. and these circular thoughts chasing themselves, and the mind is like going crazy in it, trying to find the end, trying to find the peace, trying to find the freedom, the solution, and it cannot ever be found. But the moment we start making that distinction between now, reality, everything else, imagination, from here, from this sanity now, we can start planning. And it's not from stress, it's not from the fearful insanity of thought believed, it's from the intelligent response to possibility. Possibilities are brought into this now and considered, not from the insanity of this is going to happen, this is the worst thing, this is terrible, that whole visceral reaction against it, which actually that pushing away, that resistance doesn't give the intelligence the chance to work. It's like we're pushing away and at the same time we're saying this has to be solved. But it can't be. Where everything's solvable in the presence that we are. It's massive. So that's the first thing, enormous distinction. And then the second area is when we then start to look at or start to, as that distinction starts to be made between reality and thought, what starts to become clear in that is the fear of that reality that isn't happening now, but is looking totally real, that is so emotive, that is so sticky and jarring and compelling and seems to like thud right into the heart of us. That is the revelation, that is making transparent all the layers of belief and conditioning of this self. It's saying these are the areas where that self-identity is most vulnerable, where it's most, where there's most defenses, where there's most, where our whole being seems to depend on. It's making it transparent. And so that's what's so beautiful about this conversation. It provides the possibility of enlightenment because the transparency of the self laid out like that. So all our fears start to come up to the surface really, and we can see them. And we can see the role that thought is playing in them, that we can see the role of belief about other people, belief about ourselves, about the future. It's all transparent. And And through this distinction between imagination and reality, there's a presence there now to actually allow all those thoughts, to allow them not from the grip, the blind, insane gripped by them, but the acknowledgement it can't be any other way. That's just what's appearing. It's not what we are, it's not what's real, it's not what's true about ourselves. They're just what's arising. And they're honored in that way. They're allowed to settle back in. They're just, there's no resistance, there's no insanity, there's just, this is what the mind produces. And it produces this because of the conditioned beliefs that have layered over our whole lives. And now we're seeing the layers, they're starting to unravel. And that is enlightenment. That's the undoing of the weight of self that is carried around, the burden of belief, of unquestioned belief. It's massive. And so fear, which is something we're so afraid of, and it's ramping up, and we feel the panic, and we feel the desperation. But thanks to this, and anyone who's listening to this, we're somehow, we've, by grace, whatever, we have access now to understand fear in a completely different way. And it's the portal through which reality can be realized, and through which all those layers of self-belief in their transparency start to dissolve. It's enormous. Changes everything. Changes everything. And it's that grip, that breathlessness, that whirring stomach, that tension is telling us, wow, look, stay still with this. There's so much to be seen here. Stay still. It's a beautiful invitation. Yeah. So thank you, everyone, so much. So much love to you. Bye.